You're listening to No Plot, Only Lore, a podcast about games and the tables we play them at. Your DMs tonight and every night are Josh and Kris. You can find us on all podcast platforms or check us out at noplotonlylore.com. If you like what you hear today, please rate and review the show and share it with everyone you've ever met.
Welcome back to No Plot, Only Lore, this week brought to you by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Something, I didn't actually have time to write an ad read. Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I think I'm bleeding.
It's finger-licking good.
What? Oh, sorry. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Slightly bleeding. Kentucky Fried Chicken, you say? No.
What?
I didn't, set anything on fire. I did cut myself. That's fine.
Okay. I feel like this requires some context. For the last, hour and a half, Josh and I have had a chat going while he has been doing home electronics repair, mostly by cutting open USB cables and trying to find the ones that had the right wires.
Turns out none of them did, because the device I had that was using USB for power was doing it performatively, I guess. It was designed to take 12 volts, and then it was just kind of relying on USB adapters to crank everything down, instead of, just directly wiring that in. And it turns out every other phone device wire that I had lying around the house is just wired differently.
And so he jury-rigged a different power solution, and it caused a big pop, and now there's cuts all over his hands. And I have this weird feeling that we have learned nothing from this.
No, this isn't even the first time I've done something like this. So when my friend Daryl was trying to sell his old house and move, he was like, hey, I need to preface this by saying I am in no way, shape, or form an electrician. I have not gone to school for any of this. I worked as a property manager for a decade and help my family with their rental properties right now. And so you kind of wind up just sort of doing things. Mm-hmm. Anyways, he's like, hey, can you change all the light switches and plugs in my house to new modern ones so that it looks better? I'm like, yeah, no problem. I can do that. It's only 2 wires. And then I blew out the plug in his living room 3 times in a row before realizing that I had a ground wire touching the box every time I pushed it back in. It took me a while to be like, oh, I got to screw that down a little bit. So yeah.
I'm not saying that we're accepting applications for another co-host for this show.
You did ask me who I would want to host the show when I die. Which
did do that, yeah.
Yeah, that's not exactly a vote of confidence.
Anyway, I said KFC because one of my favorite weird international traditions with Christmas is in Japan, KFC is the biggest deal on Christmas. To the point that you have to order your bucket months in advance, sometimes a year in advance, if you want to secure a spot.
Yeah, the KFC has replaced all other family food traditions for some reason. There's no turkeys, there's no pumpkin pie, there is the Colonel and neon green coleslaw.
I think that it kind of boils down to the same reason that Santa Claus has such a stranglehold on North America, which is mostly Coca-Cola's fault.
That's true. They more or less invented Santa Claus. I mean, as we know him today.
Yeah, there was a St. Nicholas who had some vague connections to dropping gifts down chimneys, and then they just ran with that in some weird-ass directions. And that has become the Christmas tradition in North America. And I think it's kind of the same thing in Japan, where Christmas itself is just a time to spend with your usually boyfriend or girlfriend. It's a romantic holiday, and then eat KFC.
I'm okay with both of those things on their own, but together at Christmas, that seems weird.
I could have a greasy fun time with that. Like
Ew. Ew. Oh, chicken grease just everywhere.
Just leavened herbs and spices all over me.
Oh, it stings. Anyways, so you brought that up and we're like, hey, what's other Christmas stuff that's international and weird that could... Because last year we spent a lot of time focusing on, like, converting North American Christmas staples into RPG type stuff, right?
Yeah, and this year I kind of wanted to take a look at not necessarily like other Christmas traditions. Like that one I worked in mostly because I love the KFC tradition just kind of on its own. But like I wanted to take a look at like some of the other winter traditions that are around the world and just kind of like see how those could interact with RPG stuff in interesting ways. So like keeping with the Japanese theme, we've got Omisoka, which is about cleaning and clearing debts and eating long noodles, which, I mean, I love one of those things.
Wait, is it clearing debts?
You guessed it. And just like, yeah, the whole idea of like preparing your house for the new year. And like it's got some Shinto tradition attached to it for like bringing in the new gods of the new year.
Well, honestly, it gives me a flavor of like spring cleaning, except like the Japanese are more efficient than us, so they do it earlier.
And in the winter where it kind of makes more sense.
Yeah,
right?
It's a big reset to start the year fresh.
Well, and you don't have like a whole lot of spring shit going on, right? Like if you clean up everything in the middle of winter, then you have more time to enjoy spring.
Yeah. And then you're not trying to clean while people are tracking in muddy boots all the time.
Yeah. And then there's a couple of notes here for like some of the yokai that are common to that time. So like the snow women and snow spirits and various kinds of kami that come down. And I thought it would be kind of neat to like look at that and try and figure out how we would utilize that in an RPG setting. So like towns that ritually clean, the spirit world itself was one of the things that I wrote down. But how would you utilize a tradition like that in a role-playing game for yourself?
No, I think you actually just kind of briefly touched on it there. The idea that like we're going to reset for the new year, so you need to go put all of the ghosts to rest. Every year, fresh ghosts. You know, people die all the time around here. If we didn't clean them up once a year, there would be a problem.
That would be a really interesting, like, not necessarily like a death mythology, but like a death ritual of just like, if we don't do this, that's when ghouls happen.
Right. If we let the backlog of spirits lurking around get too deep, then they start having to manifest elsewhere.
And then you could even like maybe tie that in with ideas of like the snow women who are just like beautiful women who like lure men off of the paths to freeze to death in some legends, and in others they seem like normal women for the most part, but as soon as you find out their secret, they turn into a cloud of snow and disappear or whatever. The Japanese monsters are so fucking weird and I love them.
Yeah, every one of them is a horrifying nightmare monstrosity. No, they sound like snow sirens. Like,
yeah, basically. Yeah, they've got like some siren type things on there. Although there's also like an underlying idea of like secretivism, where it's just like you're keeping this secret that you are a snow woman.
Oh right, yeah. Well, that's the lure, right? They're not like beautiful singers or something. They're just women.
No, just beautiful ladies in kimono, standing in a snowbank, distributing swords.
Ooh. That's no system of government.
Dongje, which I am pronouncing terribly.
I'm just gonna say, there's no way you're pronouncing that right.
Dongje.
Dongje.
happens around the solstice.
Uh-huh.
It is very much similar to things like Yule and like the longest night type festivals. And the thing that I love about this one is that families get together to eat dumplings.
That's good enough reason for an entire holiday. Hey, it's dumpling day. Get in here.
Right? Yeah, just like the 21st of December every year is dumpling day. And I'm down. Like, this is a holiday I think I'm going to start celebrating.
I'm trying to get someone to go out for dim sum on Saturday just to eat dumplings.
Have you ever done Jewish Christmas?
Oh, Chinese food on Christmas? Yes.
Yeah. It's the best.
Yeah, it's awesome. First of all, I vastly prefer like random mall Chinese food to like turkey. Like,
I don't mind turkey, but like the best.
Okay, turkey's fine. The best part of the meal is the side dishes. The turkey itself is just a vehicle for cranberry sauce.
Just give me an entire plate full of stuffing. Yeah.
Yeah. Stuffing, my mashed potatoes, because they are bangers, and pumpkin pie.
Okay. But the best Christmas dinner I ever had was J.P. Cock and his mom took me out for hot pot.
Oh, yeah.
In Edmonton. And it was fucking great. It was the best meal I had in a very long time. It was like a hot pot buffet where you just like rolled up, grabbed whatever you want, threw it in your broth, and it was an all-you-could-eat type deal.
Oh, that sounds great. You know, honestly, we need to shout out JP like a lot more. Check him out at Johnny Cock Art, JAOHNNIKOK Art. I have like 3 of his pieces. I keep forgetting to get them framed, but they will be up in my new house as soon as I can get them framed. But
his art's phenomenal.
He's great. I have known I don't know if you know this. I went to junior high with that guy accidentally.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so we went to the same weird tiny Christian school on like the fringes of Edmonton back when Ellerslie Road was like the boonies. Yeah. That's where we first met and then reconnected years later because he was like adopted by a family at the church and that's where he grew up. But yeah, no, awesome dude. His art continues to improve and just find new ways to inspire me. He does this like glitch pop style that he kind of invented. Yeah,
gorgeous work.
Dope.
I haven't talked to JP in many, many years, but always very kind and easy.
I see him at every convention, so
okay. Well, tell him I said hi.
he once paid me for pizza with art, so
oh, good. That sounds very much like JP. Yeah. So anyway, the thing with this holiday, like the reason that dumplings are a thing is apparently there was a nobleman who was going through town and noticed that like a bunch of people had frostbite on their ears.
Mm-hmm.
And as a like guard against frostbite, he insisted that they all get dumplings.
Incredible solution. What a forward thinker. Love the man.
I agree. Like, well done, guy. You came up with the right answer, which is more dumplings.
Yeah. That solves most problems in life.
And I love the idea of there being a yearly festival that you could go to. Okay, so like I'm a big fan of like persistent buffs. I like the idea of like having buffs that last for a really long time. Mm-hmm. Imagine doing like a yearly festival where you get like a +1 bonus to any kind of like cold resistance because you ate the fucking dumplings.
Perfect.
Right? And just like it's got like such a beautiful little cultural touchstone to it of just like this is a thing that you do every year. If you forget to do it or you miss it that year, you eat dumplings on the wrong day, then you don't get your +1 bonus.
Yeah, it's like a stupid little bonus, but you should do it because, you know, you're at a distinct disadvantage otherwise. Like, you're not going to die, but like, it's worse. Your life is worse.
I did also write the idea of frostbite demons who steal body parts unless you give them offerings, which I think is just just like you wake up with like a black missing piece of your body and like half of your dumplings are gone.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know how I would like mechanically represent the missing body parts other than like
There's
hit point loss or something.
there's ways. There was a chart I remember. Was it back in 4th edition or something? It was one of the ones. It was specifically designed to like represent like persistent wounds.
Right.
So like I think you could like lose a foot and your speed was like permanently reduced by 5 feet or something like that. Things like that.
Okay.
If you lost an eye, you were at like a -1 to perception rolls, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's plenty of tables out there like that.
That feels like a lot more work than I want to go through for a silly joke about frostbite demons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like you didn't eat the dumplings on the right day, and so the frostbite demons came and stole your toes.
Yeah, fair.
Korea has, I'm gonna murder this pronunciation, Seolal.
Soul. Well, because I can see. We're gonna call it Soul. Solo.
All right.
Solo. Damn it. Yeah.
Soul.
Continue.
It is a several-day celebration where everybody is wearing hanbok, and I am not familiar with hanbok as a dress. I'm assuming that that's like robes.
That's the
robes.
traditional Korean dress. Yeah. Also, turns out it's pronounced Seola. Lol. Seola. Seol. Lol.
I don't know if anybody has noticed, but neither Josh nor I speaks Korean.
I have like several Korean friends too, and it's not happening.
We are posting this directly to them.
Steven, I'm so sorry. Sarah, I'd like to apologize.
What I liked about this one is that ancestors are particularly close. So they come and visit your households.
Yeah.
They're like weirdly picky. They don't like mean you any harm because they are your ancestors.
But they are critical of you because they're your ancestors.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So like great grandpa is like, I did not survive several wars just for you to have a house this gross.
You can't get away from like the judgmental Korean parent stereotype even in their death. Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like the idea that like the spirits are back and just like, you know, I don't know if you'd want to do it as something like something goes horribly wrong where all the spirits are back and they might be stuck here and not be able to get back to heaven, or like the spirits are back and boy are they angry. I don't know.
Well, one of the options that I have here is like a winter ghost market. So like every year the ancestors come back and they're able to trade things from the spirit realm to the physical and back.
Ooh, because like the veil is thin or whatever.
Yeah, and like things from the material world would have different value to the spirits. So like my conceptualization of this would be like things that have a lot of like emotional weight to them. Right?
Okay.
If you've invested emotional weight in them, those are the items that are going to be worth the most. So like gold is going to get you nothing.
Right, they don't care. What are they going to spend it on?
But like your childhood blankie that you have had in your backpack your entire goddamn life, you could buy a mansion for that.
Yeah. Or like things that the ancestors haven't been around to experience that they'd want to. Like, hey, here's the photo journal of our trip to Disneyland with the kids this summer. Like,
and then you could combo them too, where it's like, here is my grandfather's stopwatch, which my great-great-grandfather wants because stopwatches weren't invented then.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
there's.
I want to. Sorry, I need to step back for a second. Is your idea with these like things that happen for like 1 or 2 sessions, like to sort of coincide with like, hey, this is just like a holiday thing that's happening right now? Or are you saying like try to set like a whole small campaign in them?
I think you could do either, right? Like, depending on the type of tradition that we're looking at, right? Like, this one is going to be several days, right? So there are a lot of opportunities to interact with the spirit world and have like a spirit world campaign. Things are happening in the spirit world. You've got like trade that's happening. You've got like ancestral stuff going on. So you could do a lot of interesting things with like fate or like things that your great grandparents set in motion, and now that this like ritual time has happened, they're able to communicate that to you and have expectations about how you're going to enact that, right? Like there's so much room in ritual and room in superstition and room in these like observances for world building on a bigger scale, but also like you can just keep it micro.
Like what I wanted to sort of like impart is the idea that like you could use this to sort of play with the concept of time in like, because so a problem that I've often run into, especially like even in the last campaign we were playing, was that like you do stuff and it takes a while to do like IRL, and then you think about how much time was actually spent in game and you're like, oh, we've only been on this adventure for like a week, right? And so if it's one of those things where like you're trying to do a larger campaign, thinking like, hey, so let's just use your like spirit market example for a minute. You know, in a month, like the spirits are going to be close and you can make deals like this. Well, what if that's your opportunity to right now go and do some like sleuthing, adventuring, dungeon exploring, whatever, to find some of these valuable memory-filled items to then trade for information with the spirit realm, like pertinent to the particular, BBEG you're chasing or whatever it happens to be, and sort of set that like anchor in the future for your party. Because I often find like you sit down, you go into a dungeon, and you're like, we're there for 3 days, and then it's like, well, then what happens? And then we run across the entire continent where you just sort of like fade to black for a week, and it's like, well, now you're in this other place, and then everything happens in the course of 20 minutes, and then you have like one conversation, and then it's like, well, I guess we go to bed and wake up and run across the continent to the next dungeon, and like doing the math on the time we spent traveling and the time we actually spent like doing things in my last campaign, the whole adventure was completed like inside of 2 months. And that included running all the way back and forth across like Neverwinter. Like, and the only time we did things was when we got to specific points where it was like, yeah, we cleared out this fort in an hour and a half, and then we left. Like, it's. I
feel like there's so I think there's a couple of things at play there. One is that I feel like published adventures are very like point by point.
Yeah.
Right. So you have a point of interest, and then you have travel, but travel at most is going to get like a wandering monster roll.
Yeah.
Right. If you're still rolling with those rules. But like the travel itself, you just kind of gloss over.
Yeah.
Right. Where depending on who it is you're playing with, myself, I try to make the travel portion of a thing as important as the events that you are reaching, because those are opportunities to have conversations with your colleagues. Right. That's opportunities for exploration. That's opportunities for world building. Like there's so much stuff that you can fit into travel that I don't think they have the opportunity to put into a published campaign as much.
Right. Well, no, like, so the point I was getting at was sort of like, you can, like, let's say this market is coming in a month, and you know where, like, 4 items are. But looking at the map where they are, you could get to, like this item will take about a week to acquire between getting there, doing the thing, coming back. This item will take a week to acquire. This item's going to take, like, 2 weeks. But it's going to be, like, easier to find, stuff like that. So you can start, like, putting in those sort of choices where it's like, okay, your budget is 30 days. How are you going to spend those days trying to accomplish these goals, right? and sort of remind people, like the a thing I see happen all the time is that, and this is like exacerbated by combat, but parties forget that like the world is moving around them, and things don't just come to an absolute standstill while they deliberate. Like, that's something I try to like put into more games these days. Is like, yeah, you sat there trying to talk to this bartender for 20 minutes, failing your rolls, and you half glance this hooded figure slip out the back door that was there, like, and now he's gone. Like, yep, you missed him.
Well, and like I think on a bigger scale, right? Like the idea of the world continuing around you being marked by holidays is huge, right? Because like I have the ADHDs, and time means nothing to me for the vast majority of my life. Like I very rarely have a clear concept of like how many days I have to like before a thing.
Yeah.
Unless I actually like sit down and do the math about it.
Yeah. Because your brain says there is now and not now, and that's it.
Yeah, and not now doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But holidays give me some anchoring. Right? So like I don't celebrate Christmas, but the fact that Christmas is coming and the fact that we have defrosted Mariah Carey and like that those songs are now playing in the mall when I go shopping is a cue to me that the world is still turning.
Yeah.
Right? That things are still going on even if I'm not directly involved with them. And I have an opportunity to engage with those because I know that they're happening. And I think that's also true for characters in your D&D worlds where like we have these events. And unfortunately, I don't think that a lot of thought is necessarily put into regular holidays in role-playing games. Like I know that Forgotten Realms has a lot. Like they do have a lot of holidays that are laid out. I don't know how many people are actually utilizing those on a regular basis.
Almost none. I can tell you right now, there's almost none. Like, yeah, it's like when you look at the index of a book and there's a bunch of tables of things that could happen, and you're like, wow, look at all these alternative gods. Anyways, Ilmater, and just like go right back to like the same 6 gods that have existed forever.
Grumsh.
Like, yeah, until they put one of those festivals into a printed adventure, no one is going to pay attention to it. You know, like they're just not. It's stupid,
a really
but
lost opportunity because like holidays are great world building. Like a holiday provides a really great anchor to what your world values.
Yeah.
Right. Like even just with the ones that we've been looking at so far, most of the winter holidays are about some form of rebirth.
Renewal.
The end of the like shortening days, the longer nights, and the beginning of like longer days and warmer days and things coming back.
The sun is returning. You know, the snow is melting. Stuff like that.
Yeah. So like a moon goddess ain't gonna be about that. No. There are going to be cultural points that you can reach based on the types of things that people celebrate and how they choose to celebrate them.
Yeah.
And you can learn.
I mean, she might be all about like a lunar new year, you know, like that's the restarting of her cycle.
Oh, for sure. And like even if we just go back to like the KFC example that we had at this like the top of the episode.
Yeah.
The fact that Japan celebrates Christmas with a fast food option that is different from the fast food option in Canada.
Right.
Right. Like ours is mostly Coca-Cola. Theirs is mostly Pepsi. It's mostly KFC.
Yeah.
The like differences in the way that holiday is expressed become huge off of that one small difference.
Yeah.
Right. Also the like very complicated history of Christianity in Japan, but like the the celebration of the like secular holiday of Christmas is very different based on the cultural context that came out of that. And so you could have the exact same holiday to Ilmater in 2 different places celebrated in completely different ways, which gives you such great insight into how those peoples interact with that information and interact with their world.
Well, and even if you think about like gods that are more specific to like certain races and stuff like that, like Moradin. If you want to, okay, let's compare what Moradin's got going on to like you mentioned here, like indigenous North American nations had like there's one here where it was like story time essentially, like winter is story time, but a lot of that comes from like, well, the weather has now forced us indoors for a while, right? Well, dwarves are kind of always indoors, so what does their holiday cycle revolve around, right? Like a lot of the touchstones for major holidays in almost every ethnic tradition have to do with the changing of the seasons. What do holidays look like for a race that could go years without noticing a change of season? Right? Like, their halls are deep. You know, they might not come out to the outside world for a decade or more. So what does their passage of time, what is that indicated by?
So when the dwarf comes out for the first time, if he sees his shadows...
I knew you were going
No, it's a good question. I think that, like, understanding what the culture is and how that culture runs, I think there would probably be, like, more focus on the way that stone reacts to weather, right? Like, the changing of the seasons doesn't just happen on a surface level. The ground itself also cools, and that has an effect deeper down as well. And the way that like the sedimentary rock happens, the changes to the way that like noise carries underground, right? Like there's a lot of things that you could notice and focus on. I'm not a geologist, so I don't know what all of those would be, but it would be kind of a fun thing to try and like.
Well, that's what I'm saying though, is that like the things you're talking about mostly have to do with like permafrost, and frankly, once you're below 10 feet, that shit doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, that's
so, like, the dwarves are definitely more than 10 feet down. You know, they have the heat of their forges and their hearths and the earth itself that kind of keeps it always warm in a lot of places. But, like, time also functions differently for long-lived races like them. Like, if you look at, like, let's say, like Tolkien elves, who are, literally immortal, what does a holiday mean for them when centuries are a blink of an eye for them? You know?
Not a lot of Christmases.
No, but that's just it. Like, what is important enough for them to do regularly, and why do they do it regularly, and what is the indicator that this time is coming, right? So, I mean, maybe they do have an extended cycle of holidays, but those holidays are much larger and much more important, but their reason behind them might be even more mundane. Like, they have this celebration once a century, but it's super important to remind people that a century has passed so that they don't just sort of like go crazy thinking about infinity, you know?
Well, and even if they like that reminder of time, but also just like passages of ages, right?
Sure.
And like the accumulation of knowledge, and I'm sure there are a lot of things that happen on like 10, 20, 100-year cycles that you wouldn't necessarily notice unless you did live that long. Man.
Well, one thing I've thought about before is that like elves who want to interact with the world around them and the mortal races around them probably have to have a lot more like prompts in their lives or reminders that they need to like make a decision or do something. Like they can't literally take forever to think about it, because like first of all, there's certain things that are just like urgent, like this has to be dealt with tomorrow or this week or this month. But also, like, you can't just sit there and ponder a problem for years, because the people involved might die
Man,
like stuff like that.
You need to watch Freerun. Like the first episode starts with like a big celebration that is happening because of like a big bad evil guy got wrecked.
Okay.
And they're talking about like her missing something important, and she's like, oh, I'll just catch it on the next one. And the guys laugh, and they're like, the next one's in 50 years. And she's like, cool, I'll see you in 50 years, I guess. And like just absolute deadpan, because for her that's like a year.
It's a whatever. Yeah. It's like, it's literally not even significant. And like they're like, I won't make it to that one. Like I'm 50 already. Like,
well, she comes back and like all of her friends are old now.
Right? Yeah.
Like, it's exactly that thing of like she didn't have the like urgent reminders on her phone letting her know that time is passing, and because of that, a lot of time passed all at once.
Well, it's like the thing from Invincible, where like Omni-Man's like, you're like a pet to me. Like, I can't, you're gonna die. I'll see you later.
Well, and I mean, I wonder also like the scale of an elven celebration being different. Like, can you imagine when an elf turns 1,000, what that party's gonna look like?
Right. But also, maybe 1,000's not that big of a deal.
Well, no, I'm just imagining like 1,000 being the equivalent of an elf's birthday.
I guess, yeah.
And it's not a birthday, it's a birth year.
Yeah.
And they get cranked for that entire year. Because fuck it, we ball.
Yeah. Because, hey, oh no, I wasted a year. A big deal.
We have a whole bunch more of these, and I think we should probably do some more next week.
Yeah, I think we can bring it up in part 2.
Hey, thanks for making it all the way through this episode of No Plot, Only Lore. If you're looking for more, you can always find us at noplotonlylore.com and on all the very best podcast platforms. If you like what you heard today, please share, rate, and review the show to feed my never-ending need for attention and validation.